Welcome everybody. I got to do it a little bit later today, so hopefully somebody's gonna help me do some Tao of the day today. We are here as we normally are weekdays in the morning sometime, because who knows what my mornings look like. I wake up and I just live my life as it presents itself. So I am grateful to be able to be here with you right now to do Tao of the day. I don't know if I put my last DAO on my website or not. I'm starting to think that maybe I forgot to do that yesterday, but I don't think so. I think I'm pretty together. Yeah. So if anybody has a number between 1 and 81, you want to join me, and we'll go through your DAO for the day. The Tao Te Ching, is a ancient text written 600 BC, and really kind of translates, as I understand it, to the canon of reason. It helps us live our life within reason, live our life as a reasonable person, live our life, embracing reason and embracing our lives. We've talked a lot over the past number of weeks as wisdom, as wisdom has been around, and I've done Tao of the Day in all sorts of different ways in my comings and goings of social media, because I want to present the Tao. The Tao has helped me gain 21 years clean and sober. It's helped me gain an understanding of the world for myself, right? So I host all of the work that I host revolves around this concept of recovering yourself, not in you being not in you looking for answers outside of yourself, but you being who you are. And the Tao is a wonderful way to do that. So if you're interested in picking a number between 1 and 81, please join me, and I would love to share the Tao with you. In the meantime, I think I will pick a number, and I'm never sure what number to pick. I always just kind of like go with my gut, and 36 is calling me today, so we're going to start with 36. If you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show the people the results. So that's 36. It's interesting. I don't know if I've read this one before. I got to make notes so I can write about this later. But yeah, this is such a beautiful one. My initial response, like, I was raised Roman Catholic, and so in having been raised Roman Catholic, I suppose I like there was this concept of don't boop, 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 Deborah Barsha, is that right? Is going to be joining me. Deborah,
Oh, hi.
how you doing? I heard
Good.
you on. I heard. We connected, not personally, but we connected through Catherine's holiday trivia. I heard you
Right. That's
talking on
right.
her
I
show.
listened
Yeah,
to you. Yeah, I did pretty good, didn't I, for a Jew?
you did so good for a Jew. Are you kidding me?
No, but wait a minute. I've always wanted to come up here because you asked for a number between, what is it, 1 and
81.
91 or something. What is it?
81.
81. Thank you. Thank you. Are you still doing that? Is that
Oh
what you're
yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah. Give me a number, girl.
Okay. Between 1 and 81. Um, how about 19?
19. Off we go. All right, so I'm assuming you've heard me do this before, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it. I'm going to get your initial thoughts, and then we'll go through it line by line.
Okay.
All right. So throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there will be no thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course.
Mm.
Thoughts?
Wow. I have to hear what those things are again. I'm so sorry. I'm
No, no,
closing
no,
my
that's
eyes.
fine. I'll read the whole thing again.
Okay.
Throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves. If these three aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course.
That's pretty amazing. Um, yeah, the whole holiness and wisdom. Wow. Um, is it
Well,
the
I think your initial reaction is just wow. So let's just break this down one by one, and then we'll see where we can get.
okay?
All right. So throw away holiness and wisdom, and people will be 100 times happier. What are your thoughts there?
Um, don't. Yeah, if you're trying to be those things, I feel like uh, with those things comes some sort of, I don't know, like hierarchy.
Damn right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like throw away hierarchy is kind of like the thing there for me. I
Yeah.
don't, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, once you have holiness and once you have wisdom and once you have all of these things that create any sort of hierarchy, create any sort of I am better, I know more, or I am on a higher level, like
Right.
whether it's education, whether it's economics, whether it's all of these things. Once we can get rid of that, people are going to be happier because they don't have anything false to strive for.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Right?
that's
Because holiness and wisdom is something that we want to be seen as holy, we want to be seen as wise, we want to be seen as these things, but really it's like, wouldn't it be better if we could just be ourselves?
right. And yet we're attracted to this app which is called wisdom.
Right. Yeah, no, and I'm like, the word wisdom gets brought up in the Tao quite a bit, and it's often about, and a large part of my work is like, the wisdom is within you,
Right.
not within me, right?
Yes.
Like to be here present with you, I can throw away my wisdom and learn from you and share who I am with you, and then we can both grow mutually without it
Yes.
being like I saw a thing like, how do you teach on wisdom or something? I'm just like, you don't teach.
Right.
You just be here, and that is wisdom. When you're trying to teach, or when you're trying to aspire to something, or be wise, or be like holy, or whatever, like you're missing the point of being present.
Yeah. That's funny because Daya was on the app and I got in line to talk to her and I came on this app not to teach or be wise. I
Yeah.
came on, just to be who I am and be an example. And if anybody relates to anything, I say that's great. Otherwise, take the rest and go away. You don't have
Right.
to. Yeah. But she was like, I would love to hear how you became a composer. And I just thought, all right, I'll talk about that. But I thought people wouldn't really relate to it. But it turns out the more personal you are, the more universal uh, it sometimes is. I don't know
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
only
No.
know your own experience. You can't teach someone to be a composer. You can just talk about your own experience. So I
Yeah,
did it.
I was talking to Daniel the other day, and he was saying, wow, it's like, are you doing a dissertation on this? I was just like, no, it's just my life. I've never been to college. I don't know, like, but I know me. And that is the study of everything I do, is me. I'm not
Yep.
trying to be right. I'm trying to
Hmm.
find truth in my life.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah. And so the next line says, throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing.
Yeah, I think that all points to judgment, actually,
Mm-hmm.
morality and justice. And it's still hierarchical in some way, but
Right.
but definitely under the category of judgment. I think.
Yeah. I talk to a lot of people often about this kind of space of like, oh, but this is the right thing to do and this is the wrong thing to do. And I'm like, whoa, 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 where's that judgment coming from? I remember my sister had a husband who was an alcoholic, and and I had to go to their home one day to watch their son because he was their mom, my sister, didn't trust him with their son to be alone because he could pass out, right? And so,
Mm.
and 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 I looked at him and I was just like, "Hey, you made this choice, and that's a fine choice. It's fine to choose alcohol when you're an alcoholic. I get that." And he's like, "No, but that's not right." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. That's your I that's something that you're living under the influence of. You're living under the influence of right and wrong, and the idea that you choosing alcohol, like instead of, being sober to watch your son, like I don't expect that. And I don't think that there's any, like, you chose to do what you needed to do, and
But
I'm
that's
here."
it's so funny you're bringing that up because I'm in recovery. I haven't had a drink in 32 years, but really what people don't understand really on this planet at this time, yes, what you're doing is globalizing a beautiful concept, but alcoholism is a disease and you wouldn't say you're choosing to have cancer. The only way that I was able to stop is to surrender completely.
Yeah, I got 21 years.
Oh, okay. So here we
So yeah,
go.
you and I are on the same page. I do not look at it as a disease, though. I do not have a disease model concept of it, but I do understand where you're coming from, and I respect it, and I do agree. He didn't choose that, which is why he shouldn't be judging it.
I got it. I got it. Yeah, the dis-ease concept is where I come from, not
Right.
disease,
Yes.
but it is
Yes.
a
No. Absolutely.
dis-ease on being on planet Earth most of the time.
Yes. You
Okay,
are
so
right.
that I'm coming from dis-ease, okay?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. But
No, and,
yes,
and I love that. And what I'm saying is not approaching it from judgment, because if he approaches it from a space of judgment, that stagnates his ability to make any sort of decision.
right. But and that's the enlightened version of alcoholism. There's enlightenment in everything. It's not
Yes.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
there's two sides to every coin. So yes, yeah.
Absolutely. And for me to have just approached that without morality and without justice,
Yes,
then
yes.
he is just doing the thing that he does, and it's right for him at this moment. If tomorrow he says, "I don't want to do that again," well, then he can make steps into moving towards a place where he doesn't make that again.
That's right. And
You know?
that it yeah, but the alcoholic in active alcoholism would never I don't know.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you're right though.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. But for me, like, it wouldn't serve anybody for me to judge him on a moral stand.
absolutely correct.
Yeah, and that's what I hear here. I know you are running out of time, but I would love to finish this with you. I didn't
I
think I
want to
took.
finish it. Oh my
Yes,
god.
bring it
Is
up.
there
Bring it. Come back up.
okay, I will. Absolutely
Like,
because I want to
you
get I
get
want to
30
get that
seconds. So I'm gonna.
last part about industry and something else.
Yeah, we're gonna go through
What
that as
was
soon
that?
as you get back up. And I'm gonna. I guess I can read it. It says, "Throw away industry and profit, and there won't be any thieves."
Right. Yeah,
So
but
think about
that's
that
going
as
to
we
take
as we. Yeah, that's gonna take a little
yeah,
bit.
I'll think
Industry
about
and
that and I'll
profit.
come back up. Industry
the
and
the
profit.
interesting the interesting thing here is industry and profit. What that produces for us is this space of, once again, hierarchy, and people needing or wanting something other than who they are.
Did you see the movie Don't Look Up on Netflix? That's pretty much what it's all about. But
Oh no, I did not see that.
yeah,
I did. I
it's
heard about it just recently.
well, it's kind of like not it's not in the under the category of a spoof because it's very serious, but uh, but you'll see the parallels and you'll understand. But this is so cool that you are dedicating these talks to the Tao. I just think it's just that cause produces such a great effect.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the cause that you're making to do this is pretty amazing. Anyway,
Mm. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I've actually been asking myself in my daily sort of meditations. I go through a number of questions, and one of the questions I ask is like, how can I receive more? I'm embarrassed to say this, but how can I receive more praise? Just like a little bit more, like I've been doing so much work for so long, and it seems in my life often to be fruitless. But I know what I'm doing is bearing fruit outside of my life.
Yeah, I think it's resonating on the planet, definitely. I
Yeah.
mean, it just it I pass by your rooms a lot, but you usually have a guest up, so I don't wait in line. But
Yeah.
today I was it just felt right, you know.
I'm so
So
glad. And when I heard you on Catherine's, and I think I'd heard you before, but when I heard you on I really got a kind of sense of your sense of humor and who you are, and I was like, oh, this is she's awesome.
well, I'm a musician and I make a living at it, which is like I know something that's elusive to some people, but it's not because I'm a great musician. I am a good musician, very good, but it's actually like what you're doing. Like it's based on just well, it's based on service. I don't want to say it because it sounds like
Yeah.
I'm just saying something,
No, 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 no.
but
You
that's
got 30 some. You got 32 years clean and say you got service in your blood.
yeah. I just and I when I coach other people, they're always about the technique of like let's say auditioning or presenting themselves a certain way. But what I usually find is that as they sing, they're listening to themselves, and that is a disservice. Just give,
Right.
you know what I mean? And so I really all my coaching is not about my coaching is about you have to walk in and give of yourself to other people, and that's it. And people see that and people can feel that, but people don't trust that, so that's they try to do all these other
Right.
vocal gymnastics and uh, you know so I mean, so we're coming kind of from the same place here. You're being of service here on this
Yeah,
app,
and
which
I
is
had a 20-year art career that has turned into my healing modality because I do portraits of my clients.
there we
So I
go,
think we
there we
have
go.
like like for me, seeing you and hearing you here on this app
Yes,
or seeing you or whatever, like that's the work I do. The work I do is I see you. And that way you can look at me and not see me, but see yourself.
that's right, because we're all mirrors for each other. That's it right there.
That's right. That's right. You are here in my life to show me a part of who I am.
Yep.
And
where
I am here
where are you
to present
located in America? Where I'm in the
Chicago.
United States. Oh, you're in Chicago. Oh, cool.
Yeah. We have an
That's
amazing
good.
symphony. We got good
You
music
got
here.
some. My show that I wrote, one of my musicals, was done at the Water Tower there.
Oh, beautiful. What was the
Yeah.
show? Not that I'm going to remember it. Sorry,
No,
but
you won't remember it, but it is called A Taste of Things to Come, and it's about a Betty Crocker cooking club from the 50s. And then they read the Kinsey report and realize that their lives have been very small till that point. So the first act
oh,
takes
that's
place in the
beautiful.
yeah, first act takes place in the 50s, the second one takes place in the 60s. But anyway, um yeah, this is really great. I'm going to check in and listen to you more because I'm a Jew boo. I don't know if you know why I say that, but I'm Jewish by birth and culture, but I became about 34 years ago a Buddhist and I chant. So the
Oh,
thing is
that's beautiful.
I was sitting down to chant and I saw you. I was like, "Wait a minute. I have to really talk to Martin John Garcia."
Oh, thank
So
you.
I
It's
just had
you know,
this yeah.
it's I don't I like although I read the Tao, I wouldn't like I'm a spiritual, just open spiritual. I hold no allegiance to any religion because God is beautiful and the Buddha is
Right.
beautiful and Jesus was kind of a cool dude, like all of these sorts of things. And I wouldn't I look at Jesus like like a lot of people love the Jesus. And one of the things that I always like to say is just like you are Jesus. You are the son of, like, you have God within you and in reach at any moment. Like all you have to do is own that and be in that space. And the Buddha and the Tao and all of these things are just here to give us the strength to be here and
Right.
serve.
That was Siddhartha's revelation that he was
Yeah,
already enlightened. I mean, he
that's
he
right.
was under the Bodhi tree. He wakes up and goes, guess what? I'm already enlightened. I have to call
Yeah,
it out of myself." Yeah.
that's right. And I didn't have to I didn't although I had to be here to experience that, I didn't have to be here to experience that. I could have
Yes.
experienced that
Yes.
anywhere I was.
That's right.
I just booked this dark retreat in Guatemala. I'm going to go to Guatemala. This is the first sort of like formal retreat I've ever taken. I'm going to spend 5 days and 6 nights in the darkness. And
Oh my
just
God.
to Yeah, just to be with me and my mind. Because as an artist, I utilize my visual world is so, and darkness, it's interesting, like back when I was doing art and like laying out things, I created a project where there was this dome. I didn't create it. I outlined a project where I would build a dome that was a mile in diameter, and people would have to walk through it, and it would just be dark. So darkness has been a theme that's been in my life, and I'm finally being able to like experience darkness in this really extreme way.
Wow, that for me, it would be so bring up so much fear. That's so interesting. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the point for me. It's not, like I'm intrigued by it, but I know it's a little scary, and I'm interested in what is going to come up over that time, because as I am like the only thing I'll be able to reference is my mind and like my touch and stuff. But if I sit, and I'm only going to be in a small room, so it's not like I'm going to have a whole bunch of like a toy box to go through and feel things. I'm going to have 5 days and 6 nights of just being with myself alone. And like I'm really hoping that a lot, well, I'm expecting a lot to come up in terms
It's
of
like
that fear.
spiritual. It's like spiritual solitary confinement.
Yeah. Solitary confinement, I think, as a punishment, like being forced into it, that is torture. But I think when you can step into that with an open mind, like that's a gift.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so
amazing that you're doing. I want to. When are you doing that? Because we have to hear a report about that.
yeah, I'm going to be talking about it. I'll be doing it at the end of March. So, but then when I come back, we're gonna unwrap it
Oh yeah,
definitely
you got to
over a
unwrap
couple of
that.
things.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this chapter, which says, if these three aren't enough, if getting rid of holiness and wisdom and morality and justice and injustice and industry and profit aren't enough, just stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course. Just let things be as they are.
Yeah. That reminds me of a James Taylor song. Be as you are, as you see, as I am. Such a great song.
Oh, I will have to look that up because I don't think I know it. I know
Yeah,
James
it's so
Taylor.
beautiful. Be as you. Yeah, it's a great song, and it's like almost like a mantra. You can sing that, or be as you are, as you see, as I am, I am. I don't know. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that is definitely beautiful. Look at that dropping of
Yeah.
wisdom. Well,
Well,
thank you
anyway, this was
so much,
amazing.
Deborah. Yeah, I appreciate you being on. I appreciate you. I appreciate just you being on wisdom and sharing yourself and your Jew boo experiences.
Thank you. I'm so happy you brought me up. Thank you, and like have the rest. Have a great day. The rest of the day.
I will. I will definitely. Thank you.
All right.
Ciao.
Bye.
Okay. Wow. We just went through number 19 with Deborah, and I don't think I had engaged with Deborah in the past, and I did hear her, and we kind of crossed paths on Catherine's room. Catherine is such a supporter of Tao of the Day, and I really appreciate all of you that have come up either regularly or just once. I really appreciate sharing this with you. I am going to go back to 36, which was my choice for today, and then we'll continue going through 36 together. Because I thought that was a really good one. I'm going to go ahead and reread it, and then we'll. And I don't think I got any. Nope. Julie Howitz is going to join us. Julie, this is great. I love having my guests. Oh, man.
Hello, lovely.
Julie, how are you?
I'm all right. I want to know what Tower
You
of the Day
sound you
is.
sound you're either in New Zealand or England, or not England, New Zealand or Australia. Where are you at?
I am from England. You got it right.
Oh, damn. I was okay. I was so are you in England now?
I am, and it's 3:35 in the afternoon.
Okay. Well, I'm in Chicago and it's 9:35 in the morning, and we are going to talk a little Tao of the Day today.
Tower of the Day. Can
Tao
you?
of the Day. Are you familiar with what I do here?
No, can you please
Nope.
tell me?
Okay. So I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81, and we read that chapter of the Tao Te Ching, and that's your Tao for the day.
Wow, that's flimming fab. I like that.
So I didn't change. Usually I have my timer set for 15 minutes, but I only have it set for 10 because of a thing I did last night. So we might have to bring you back up if you have the time. And
I
do you
have
have a number?
all the time.
Oh, beautiful.
Would you like my number?
And I like that we're both wearing hats in our profiles.
Yes.
This is, we're dapper.
That's because we've got magic under the hats.
Yes, that's right. There's magic. There's magic everywhere, and magic hats. That's us. So what number do you want?
I was going to say 21. Is that good?
That I don't know. Let's find out.
Yes.
21. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to read it all through, and then I'm going to ask you for your initial response, and then we'll go through it line by line and see if we can pull anything else out.
Okay.
All right. The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know it is true? I look inside myself and see. That's it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I would say that to me it reads like negativity may be the Tao. But if you look at negativity and you use it as a direction, then it can only turn into a positive and give you guidance. That's what I picked up from that. What do
Well,
you think?
that's beautiful, and I love the way you put it because what so much of the Tao kind of talks about. If you're not familiar with the Tao Te Ching, is this idea that well, once we recognize something as negative, we've identified it in our mind, and so by being able to let go of good and bad or positive or negative, when
Yeah,
we experience something, it is there as a lesson. It is not negative or positive. It is just a lesson. And one of the things that I like to talk about, because I talk a lot about recovery, I got 21 years without drugs or alcohol. And I talk a lot about this space of how can we just be present in this moment without the judgment of positive or negative.
yep,
And
yep. I
so,
agree with that.
and there is also this thing at the end, which we'll get to, which is since before time and space were, the Tao is. That line is so beautiful to me because it plays with space and time, right? Before time and space were, i.e., there is now when you utilize the word were, you're utilizing something that is within time. It used to be. So
Yeah,
before these things were, the Tao is. It is just present. It's not. It doesn't say before time and space were, the Tao was. It says, before time and
no,
space, where the Tao is. And so this is such a beautiful little thing that just plays with the concept of time, that it is not so clear cut as we think.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
think that time is man made.
Yes, it
Time
is.
is man made. So I'm not going to live my life by time. I'm going to live my life by experience.
Mm.
And that, is how I enjoy every moment. That is why.
Julie, I just hearing you, my heart is just so huge. I just want to say I love you. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm looking forward to going through this. So the master keeps her mind always with the Tao. That is what gives her radiance. So that's what we start with. Now, as I understand the Tao, it is all things. It's the universe. It's God. It's however you want to describe it.
It's present. It is. That's it.
Yes. And you keep your mind there so that you don't have to get caught up in what I like to call the manifestation. Like
Yep.
that which is around us. You don't have to get caught up in the traffic. You don't have to get caught up in the shopping. You don't have to get caught up. You do those things, but your mind stays with the Tao.
Yep. What a nice place to be, though.
That's right.
What a
And
nice way to be.
and and then the next line, that is what gives her her radiance. Like, think about it. If you kept your mind on the Tao when you were in traffic, would you come home all disheveled? If you kept
Exactly.
your
You're
mind
not
on the
allowing.
Tao,
Yeah.
right, you wouldn't be
You're not
worried about.
allowing around you to affect you.
Yes.
Or,
And
and you're also not projecting it out again. So it's not using you as a vessel. All these things that happen to you can use you as a vessel. So you can accumulate them or feel them, and then you project whatever it is you feel about them. So you project that out. So if you are concentrating on the Tao, you are not allowing things to affect you, and therefore you are not putting things out, and you will be peaceful and radiant and wonderful and lovely and unaffected. How's
that's
that?
right. Oh man, so beautiful. And then the Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas.
Maybe she's part of it.
That's right. Those ideas, the idea that, oh, traffic is bad. Oh, the idea that this experience is negative. Oh, the idea that I have to do the shopping before this or that, or I have to do these things. You don't cling to those ideas of that you picked up, that you're living under the influence of.
And you're also mentally doing the task before you actually have to do the task. Why are you doing that? You're doing the thing twice.
Or more than twice,
Yeah.
or when you do it afterwards, right? Like you get in an argument and then all of a sudden you have to tell everybody like 17 times in your head all these witty comments that you've come up with since the argument, right?
Yeah. What a waste.
What a waste. And it's like, and that's why her mind can be at one with the Tao, because she's not wasting all of her energy
Yeah.
being somewhere she is not.
It sounds great. I'm loving my number. I am loving that because it is such a good thing. It is such a nice thing to hear. It's good for me. It's good for me, this. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it.
Yep, she's part of it.
Yeah, she doesn't try to understand it. She doesn't try to explain it. She just lets it work upon her.
Yeah. Yeah, she it's not a giving or a taking thing. It is. That's all you
That's
need
right.
to know. That's it. It is. And it'll be after she's gone too. So why would she not be radiant about that?
And it's not even that it will be. It is after she's gone, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what brings us to this next line, which is since before time and space were, the Tao is.
is. Crikey. What a whopper that line is too.
Right. And beyond, it is beyond is and is not. How do I know it is true? I look inside myself and see.
Yeah, because it's part of us.
And
We are part
everywhere
of
we
it.
look, when we look inside, we can find the truth.
Yeah. It is lovely. It's very settling and it's provides security and comfort. That is
Mm,
why she is radiant because she it gives comfort just knowing, you know, not knowing. It's
that's right. Thank you so much. If you want to come on and finish your thought, um, I would love to have you pop back in. Catherine will be with you shortly. I just want to wrap up number 21 with Julie.
no,
Okay.
I'm back.
Yes. And so, yes, it is beyond is and is not. How do I know it's true? I look inside myself and see. And that's the thing. I look inside myself and I can find the truth. And I don't have to get caught up in the manifestation of things. I don't have to get caught up in the frustrations and the actions of other people. I can allow them to be as they are. Just like in number 19 that I just read with Deborah, we were
Yeah, lovely.
talking about like being in the center and allowing things to take their course.
Yeah, they don't always need our input. They don't. Things don't always need our input. They don't need to affect you either.
Right.
You know, we are the one thing I've noticed more than anything in my lifetime is it is great to say that you are powerful, but it is also good to say that you will be meek too, because we are not in charge of everything. We are not.
Right.
No matter how much we try to think that we are not. Things will play out the way that they are meant to play out. And the only power that we do have is allowing things to affect us or not,
Yeah.
or projecting what happens or what occurs or not. And we're in charge of how we push that forward, you know. So if I'm in a traffic queue and I get all irate and everything and let that affect me, which it shouldn't because it's pointless. And then I get out of the car and I go into my house and my partner's there and I'm like, oh God, I didn't even put the kettle on yet. You knew I was coming. I text you, you know, and then I'm projecting it. I'm projecting
Hmm.
that whole no need. There's
That's
no
right.
need.
That's right.
So
Yeah. And
yeah.
and all of that, like, and that projecting happens so easily. And it's not something that we want to judge ourselves with. We just want to continue to come back home, continue to go back inside and say, you know what? And if we can, the sooner we can do that, the better. So if we can do that in the traffic queue, then we won't come home
Yeah.
and project. And if we can do that at
Yeah.
work
Yeah.
before we left work, we don't have to come home and project. And if we can do that in the morning when we wake up, instead of reminding ourselves of how shitty our fucking day is going to be,
Yeah.
then we don't have to come home that night and yell at our partner for not putting the kettle on, but we can give them a hug and we can be like, I'm in love with my life. And you are
Yeah.
part of that.
Yeah. Not only that, I'm in love with you, you know?
Well, that's the thing.
God, I've got something going.
Yes, I'm in love with you because you're a part of all of this. And
Yeah,
whether or not you decide to be with me tomorrow, I am going to love you anyway.
exactly.
Like
And
your
the way,
choices aren't going to change me.
yeah, the way I think about things is when something good is going on, I just think how lucky, and how much I'm going to enjoy all of these things in this moment. I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to give out lots of love. And that's how I go from moment to moment. That's how I try my best to do. And like you said, in the morning, if we can wake up and say, well, it's going to be a crap day, but it doesn't have to sit deep within me, does it?
That's right. But
Yeah.
like it's great to just see it and let it go.
Yeah.
Right? Just let it. You know, it's you get rid of the morality, you get rid of the industry, you get rid of all of that stuff. You get rid of, keep your mind with the Tao.
Yeah.
It's unfathomable, but sit with it anyway.
Yeah, it's nice there.
Yeah,
It's unjudgmental.
that's right.
It,
I'm going to
and
accept it as it is.
yeah, and that's it. That's just great. I love that.
Thank you
I'm going
so
to
much
take
for
that all
joining
the
me.
way
I
through.
really, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to engaging again.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. I shall definitely be keeping my eye on what you got to offer me because you've just
Yeah.
given me a gift. So thank
Oh
you
well,
so.
I'm so grateful for that. Thank you.
And I
All
love
right, I'm
your
going to
hat.
swap you out now with Catherine. She's a regular, and we'll be talking again.
I'll speak to you soon. Thank you so, so much.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, we're coming to Catherine if she's still on. Sometimes people step off when they're waiting too long, but Catherine.
Well, I actually am about to do some work, and I thought, oh, Day, that's always a good little,
Yeah.
boost in my day. So I'll hang
That's good.
there. So I actually was doing work on the computer, but I was kind of listening. And
Yeah.
good thing you
Julie was a new Tao of the Day participant, and I'm really grateful for her contribution.
who doesn't love new Tao of the day people? I mean, you
I
start,
know.
you get addicted, and then you're like calling you at home going, listen, when is Tao of the day, people? Pull yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's my thing. I want to get people addicted to Tao of the Day, so they come to me for my client work, my one-on-one client. It's like, yes, get addicted to me. See, this is me providing job security.
Oh, I guess I totally am doing my stuff wrong then too. I didn't get on yesterday. I ended up having late night Disney planning conversations.
Oh yes.
Yes. Because my partner in crime has now just barely started. He's like, I guess I should order some clothes for the kids and myself. I'm like, dude, you're leaving early next week. So I'm thinking,
Wow. They are trucking. Jesus. Time moves quick.
I know. Remember, so you made fun of me. Oh, it's 3 weeks out. I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, all these other things. So there you go. All right, 56. Let's get into it.
56. I love 56. I mean, just as a number.
Is it one that we've done like 45 times? Or
I
just,
don't think we've done this one.
it's a
Right?
miracle.
56. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth. Block off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honored or brought into disgrace. It gives itself up continuously. That is why it endures. That's a good one.
That's a fabulous one. Oh,
Yes.
I'm nervous now because I got to record a couple podcasts and it says not to talk. So, I mean, like, I'm like,
Those
ugh.
who, no, it just says those who know don't talk.
You know what it makes me think of? They always say the most powerful person in the room is the one who speaks the quietest
Yes.
because everyone has to lean in to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's often the ones who sit there and say nothing for the longest time that are paying such close attention to what's being said than
Yeah.
those that blah 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 blah. And you're like, we covered that last week. We did?
Right. I'm too busy. And that's funny. That's exactly what Julie had stated. This idea that like people, or no, Deborah, your buddy Deborah came on earlier. Um,
Oh.
and she and I were talking about this idea that people like she coaches musicians, and so many musicians just play and listen to themselves playing rather than being present and playing for others. So they're actually kind of playing for themselves. And so like that's along the same lines.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
You live in Nashville, but I have no idea what happens in the world of music whatsoever.
Right. Same. It's same thing that happens everywhere else, really.
Yeah. Don't even have
I mean,
the industry.
yeah, it's like once you understand, like once you're in it, because I'm in the arts as well. And so like, I was talking to doctors not long ago, and I was like, okay, it's like a residency program we have, like for doctors, like we have like a research program for doctors. Like artists have a residencies programs, right, where you can go and live somewhere and be paid to live there and do your work, like
Mm-hmm.
that's it's like the industries are all the same everywhere. They just have different language around them.
Yeah, it's way over my head.
Yeah.
Unless they're
Well,
talking about, the recent bill that's in Congress or, business strategy or something. Whew, over my
yeah.
head.
That's yeah, that's your game. And as soon as you say that, I go, "Bah, bah."
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Okay, so this first line of this 56 is these first two lines. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. It's so it's so beautiful, like just simply put. And here I am on Wisdom on an auditory app, right? like talking, but I don't know that I talk a lot.
Just when nobody comes on and I hear myself going, so anyways, when you're by myself. And
That's right. So what are your thoughts about those first line?
well, I shared them. The most
No,
important
yeah.
in the room does the whisper.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
blah 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 blah. What was that you said?
Right. And
Okay.
that's the thing. If you're so busy talking, you're not paying attention and you're not taking in information.
Yeah, it makes me think I can't. She's not a friend, but she's a human being that I know and used to run across. And she would not take a breath. You know those people that go blah blah blah
Oh God.
blah 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 blah, and you're like, oh my god, don't you like? I couldn't even. She never took a breath long enough for me to go. I gotta go.
Right.
Like I'm literally. I have a meeting. I have to hang up on you.
Yeah.
Like she would.
That's yeah.
There's no window for it.
And when they're talking that much, you're not even open to learning from them.
Learning. It's just blah 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 blah.
Right. Like you're not open to picking anything up. It's just like by them talking so much, like they have created an environment where like they can't know because no one like in order to know something, in order to be present, you have to be able to share something.
Yeah, it's interesting, and also it's not very. It doesn't show much interest in the other person if you don't leave space for them to say, I have to go, or to answer, or to participate in the
Yeah.
conversation. That's when they call it what? Talking at you.
Right. That's when you're getting talked at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how I feel as well, like when that happens. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I reference is just like, well, if you're just talking at me, my attitude towards what you're saying has changed.
Yeah. That's when oops, my phone got disconnected.
Yep, yep, yep. Just click. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just like I lost signal.
Yeah, yeah.
So then this next is a bunch of different things that talk about getting to your primal identity, and it says close your mouth,
Yep.
block off your senses, blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, and settle your dust.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like they just described intuition. So, ta-da!
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting because I think we've talked about the idea that I'm going on a dark retreat. I just booked that yesterday. I'm going down to
Ooh.
Guatemala. I'm going to spend 5 days and 6 nights in complete darkness. And this idea of blocking off your senses is definitely in that for me. It's just like, hey, be quiet. Don't take in, like, just be here with yourself and be here in your primal identity. And that's really, I don't want to say what I'm looking for. I don't know that I'm looking for anything other than to have this experience of being with me and only me.
You have to go to Guatemala to be in the dark?
Well, there aren't any that I like in the States. Um, and I speak Spanish, so Guatemala is not far. And Guatemala takes me through Panama, and I know someone in Panama.
Oh, there you go.
um and like I have done 10-hour stints in the dark like on my own, but like in order to get food so there's no light comes in and be supported so that I don't have any responsibilities, like that's why one goes to a retreat in the first place. I'm not really a retreat kind of guy, but for this sort of an experience I would need support. So
That sounds uber fun.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be talking about it when I get back and stuff, and I'll probably be talking about it a little bit before I go as well.
Yeah,
But
but talk to you while you're doing it because the phone
no,
gives.
no, no, no. Yeah, there won't be any phone. There won't be any internet. I'll just be alone with water, and they'll give me food twice a day and darkness. I'll have a bed and a space to meditate, really, and do some yoga.
In a
About
little
it. And a what?
bathroom.
Yes, there will be a bathroom because there's water. I gotta come back on because I didn't put my timer on to 15 minutes. I only put it on to 10, so we got 5 minutes left. So
Oh, so I have to come back to use my 5 minutes.
yeah, because
Okay.
I didn't do it right. Or you can just leave and I'll talk about it myself. But I like talking with you. So the next line is be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed.
It's always available.
It's always available. You can't approach it or withdraw from it. It is here.
Yep, just like your intuition.
Yes, your intuition. And you, like you're all of you. Like you are here. You're not gonna like and it's your mind and it's your intuition and your sense of self and your sense of presence. Like that's all just here within you. It can't be
Mhm.
benefited or harmed, honored or brought to disgrace. That's an interesting one because like we can be so aggrieved so quickly.
Yeah, and I think it that or brought to disgrace. I think that's really interesting, especially what I talk about is
Hmm.
how intuition is referred to in different ways in the business world, but not openly discussed. And so the fear is if I begin to openly discuss it, people will think I'm crazy. But the truth is, it already exists within the business world. And so it cannot be disgraced because if you can point out how it's already being used, you say, get a read on something, say your gut instinct, then you can show how it already exists. So it cannot be disgraced.
Yeah, and I love the idea that something can't be disgraced because I think that that's a fear. I know that's a fear that I have, right? Like not being respected, not being in someone's good graces, not being seen as awesome because I am. And it's like I can feel oftentimes that I can be brought into disgrace, and that's a doubt that I have within me. That I want to be able to, like befriend or understand a little bit better. And I think that as I continue to be like the Tao, as it says here, just be present in this moment and close my mouth, block my senses, blunt my sharpness, I can just be with that intuition and understand that that intuition is guiding me, is intelligent, much more than I feel like or I believe I am.
And even I would say, not necessarily that um, coming out in a way like even like me sharing how I did things through intuition. It was kind of known, but no one talked about it. I never said anything. It wasn't out of fear of people really disliking me. It was more of the fear of the what I had built and the ability to help people and the ability to be in the places I was in and serve at the level that I could
Hmm.
being taken away.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's that.
not
You know
necessarily
that
liking me, but I had reached a place where, bigger people could hear me when I talk about this.
right. And I think that that's really kind of a large part of what I'm saying because I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily in a place where bigger people can hear me, and that's where I want to get to. And I think that there's sometimes like hesitation in how I present what I do, and I follow, as you know, I follow my intuition as closely as I can. Um, at this moment, and I'm sure that like our relationship and like other things that I'm doing right now will open that up even more. But then this next line is it gives itself up continually.
Yep.
And that's something that I always really love, is to give up of the identity that I hold of myself so that I can step into a new one or step into a new space.
Yeah. Well, and I always say your intuition is available to you just like, I think of it as plugging into the wall. I know that's not available everywhere all the time, but it's an easy thing for people to imagine is that we don't think about the electricity coming from the wall when we plug it in. We just expect it to be there.
Right.
And that's what that Tao is. Whenever you need it, whenever you need that strength, whenever you need that intuition, whenever you need the guidance, the stability, it's already there. You just have to, recognize it. It's
Right.
always happening around you. You just have to take a moment. My time
Hmm.
is nearly up due to the fact that I was told I have to get off in 5 minutes, so I have to go.
Well, um, it gives itself up continually, and that is why it endures, because it doesn't need, like, I see that as not needing to be a specific thing and not needing to hold a specific identity. You can give up that old identity, like you giving up that identity of not being able to talk about it, to owning the identity of being able to talk about it, owning the identity of being the one that talks about intuition.
Yeah, the weirdo in the room who's not
The
so
weird.
weird, apparently.
No,
I know.
no.
It's kind of sad. I like kind of like being the weird girl.
Yeah, I see you as the weird girl,
Oh, thank you.
but I see myself as the weird guy. So, like I'm not weird at all, but I know that other people see me that way. And I think that you hold that same sort of thing, which I think you are probably more keen than most of the people in the room, and you're the one that's identified as weird because you're speaking some truth.
I kind of creep people out sometimes. Let's just be honest.
Oh, do you?
Yo, yeah. How did there's
Oh.
no way you would know that? Well,
Mm.
isn't it? And
Oh
I,
yeah, that's right. I remember you told me a story one time of someone like freaking out and like running the other way when you told them about themselves.
yeah, that
You're like,
happens.
"Oh, so this is you?" It was like, "Wait, how do you know that? You're getting into my head." No, 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 no. You just told me that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's very funny. People, yeah, it's though they eventually, I'd say not all of them, but eventually they'll come back because they'll realize, oh, you know, I don't know why people feel like if you know about them or you seem to know about them, it freaks them out.
Yeah, it freaks people out. And the
Yeah,
thing is they're telling you about themselves all the time. And yet it's so I don't know. It's just like everything you say and everything you do is telling me about you. Do you want me just to not pay attention to what you're doing? Like you are telling me about yourself all the time. So
yeah. Although I
it,
have some ways of getting other information that they're not telling me.
yes, you follow your intuition. I mean, we all do, and well, not we all do. Well, you and I think do, and I think
And
like
cards.
in what's that?
And the cards. The cards usually
Oh,
are
you
the
got the cards.
dead,
Yeah. I
dead.
use I use Reiki, and I use other sorts of energetic connections and stuff. I mean, when I was talking with Julie today, we were like there was definitely a deep connection there, so that, when I connect with new people, sometimes even when early in our connections, like, like you can feel that
Yeah.
energetic connection just kind of like building. It's like, hey, there's an understanding between us.
I think for me though, the cards is what I find interesting. Is it? I pretty much know, but when people like give away that,
Mm,
it's when they end up saying it out loud or acknowledging to you is when it freaks them out.
right, right.
I don't want anyone to know this about me, and suddenly you do, and by saying that, I've just acknowledged it. That is
Right. And
no.
there's nothing I can do now. I've given up the ghost.
I've given up. That's when they kind of freak out a little bit. But
That's right.
the handy tool. What do you say? I love
Yeah.
this. Can you read it one more time as I end out and say goodbye and
Yes.
have a
I will
beautiful day? And
I will read this, and then we will smooch. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth. Block your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honored or brought into disgrace. It gives itself up continually. That is why it endures. Thank you so much, Catherine. I really appreciate you always, and I am always happy to have you on and chat with you about the Tao. So I'm going to be entering back. I'm going to be going back to 36, which is the number that I picked. And then I had Deborah and Julie and Catherine come on and join me. Um, 36 states, if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. If you want to take something, you must first allow it to be given. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. The soft overcomes the hard. The slow overcomes the fast. Let your workings remain a mystery. Just show the people the results. Okay. If anybody wants to come on, you're welcome to, but I am going to spend some time finishing 36 before I choose you. So I will recognize that you're here, but I might not grab you right away. So if you want to shrink something, you must first allow it to expand. You know, that's a beautiful sentiment, because so often, when we get something in our lives and we want it to shrink, we want it to get smaller. We must first give it the space to expand, right? Like if we want to let our grievance shrink, we might have to really indulge our grievance. I know for my addiction, I wanted it to shrink, and I had to allow myself the space to just let it be. I know, I've talked often about this concept of you're going to do it until you don't. And I think this falls under the category of that, where, if you want to quit smoking and you judge yourself all the time about every time you smoke, well, if you change the concept of that judgment to be in a space of you're going to do it until you don't, so you're going to smoke until you no longer smoke, well, then there's less judgment. And because there's less judgment, it's possible for it to maybe expand, not necessarily in terms of you smoking more, but you're giving it space to exist in your life. You're taking away the judgment, you're taking away the walls that you first created, so that you can be in a space of allowing it to be. And as that is, you can just be present with it and not judge it. And so you allow it to expand and take up more space. And it doesn't want to. You find yourself in a space where you can actually say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And I don't do this anymore. If you want to get rid of something, you must first allow it to flourish. That's the pendulum. The pendulum swings. And before it's going to come back, it's got to go all the way out. And so you have to let things be. You have to allow it to flourish, right? Just like in the smoking scenario I talked about, and you're going to do it until you don't. By saying you're going to do it until you don't, you're allowing yourself to step back and not judge it. You're allowing it to flourish. Whether it does or not is its job, and then you can be present. If you want to take something, you must allow it to be given. This is all about paradox. This is all about the paradox of being, right? You hold a body in this soul, and that soul is having an experience through you and everybody else. And so if you want to take something, you must allow it to be given. If you want to take or have love in your life, you must allow it to be given. You must allow other people to love you and receive it. And you must allow others to love each other without you, you know, without you wanting it to be any certain way. This is called the subtle perception of the way things are. And that's just it. It is the subtle perception of the way things are. It's not necessarily how things look on the outside, but it is just the subtle perception of the way things are, understanding them at their root, understanding that there is a paradox in all things, and we have to embrace the paradox, the good, the bad, because without one, you don't have the other, right? You can't have something expand or shrink in your life if you don't first allow it to expand, because you need to understand both in order to have the experience of one. And the more you try and stop the expansion, the more you hold back the shrinking. The soft overcomes the hard, the slow overcomes the fast. This soft hard thing often gets brought up in terms of water, and I hate that analogy for whatever reason. But I do want to say, if you have a soft heart, you can overcome a hard one. If you have a warm heart, you can overcome a cold one. Let your workings remain a mystery and just show the results. And that's having been raised Roman Catholic, I think I mentioned this earlier, this concept of, don't pray in front of everybody. You do your meditation, you do your quiet time alone. And even even my talking about my dark retreat goes against this, right? Because I'm prostrating it out in the world, and I'm saying this is what I'm going to do. I'm not allowing myself to be a mystery. And I think that has a lot to do with this concept of, like, profit, the concept of wanting clients, and the desires that I still have in my life. And being able to let go of those desires is a big deal. And I'm still afraid to let go of some of those desires, because if I let go, well, how am I going to survive? How am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to do all of those things that I want to be doing in my life? How am I going to own property in Spain? How am I going to become a Spanish citizen? How am I going to do all of those things if I have nothing to offer? Well, it's not that I don't have anything to offer. I have a lot to offer. I have me to offer. The problem is that my desires want me to offer what I believe I'm offering the world, right? And the world is created in a way that, productivity and all of these things are established. And that's a tough one. I have to sit with that today. And that's my Tao for the day, is to understand that I am here present. And having said that, I'm going to go ahead into my ending pitch, which, if you want to work with me, I do work with clients. I do work with clients in a very special way, where I only see you 4 times. I only want to see you 4 times because I want you to live your life. I don't want to control your life. And that's a big, big aspect of why I lean on the Tao so much, is because, I don't want to get you attached to me. I don't want there to be a codependent relationship between you and I. I want you to make your choices and live your life. And that's how I work with individuals. If you're interested in what I do and how I do it, you can definitely set up a free call on my website, martinjohn.com. Otherwise, you can join me in one of my workshops. I got 4 workshops happening. They're all the same workshop, but they're 4 dates to my Recover Yourself workshop. You can understand more of the core of what it means to recover yourself by going to one of those. We go through a beautiful exercise that you can take into your life and explore. And then many people who have gone through that have become clients of mine, and are now off living their own life, having lost weight, got better jobs, got better relationships, and all sorts of things in their life, are now moving in a direction that they feel more compelled to move into. Once again, I'm your host, Martin John. This is Tao of the Day. And Tao of the Day, we cover the Tao Te Ching. I ask you to come on here on the Wisdom app, pick a number between 1 and 81, and we explore that Tao. And that's your Tao for the day. I want to thank Catherine and Julie and Deborah for sharing and coming on and being present with me for today. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you do and everything you are. I'm Martin John, your host. This is a Recover Yourself podcast, or this is a Recover Yourself production. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.